Several members of the Eagles spoke with the media yesterday, and Nakobe Dean anticipates a breakout season. Plus, James Bradberry has a message for Juju Smith-Schuster, and A.J. Brown is getting faster. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, hope you're all doing fantastic. If you're new to the channel, I'm Josh and I cover the birds. So it looks like Jason Kelce, Jordan Mailata, and Lane Johnson were back in the studio yesterday recording a second Christmas album after award-winning pianist Luke Carlos O'Reilly posted on Instagram saying, "Yesterday was one of my favorite days in the studio that I've ever had." And if you're not entirely familiar with what's going on, the Eagles O-lineman released a Philly special Christmas last year right before the holidays, which I highly recommend checking out on Spotify. And as you probably know by now, Jordan Mailata is the lead singer in this group and evidently impressed enough to help the squad sign a second record deal.
Merry Christmas, Philadelphia.
And a Happy New Year.
Except you, Dallas.
I'm not sure if this will be a Christmas in July thing or if they'll wait until the holidays, but either way, they're definitely spreading some Christmas cheer.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Speaking of spreading the love, Eagles linebacker Nakobe Dean visited the Boys and Girls Club in Northeast Philly, where he spent time with kids, took pictures, and delivered food. It's really cool to see Nakobe continue this trend after he did it all of last season on his days off, but it's not just off the field that he'll be contributing, as Philly Inquirer's Josh Tolentino reported that Dean anticipates a larger role heading into his second season, saying, "I've been working to be able to do everything I need to for this team, to have us be the greatest defense that we can be. This summer, I'm striving to be the best I can possibly be with my training and the best version of myself." He continued, "My goal has always been to help us win games, win big games, win championships, and win Super Bowls. That will always be my main goal." And Dean has let it be known that he's playing with an edge after being passed on in the NFL draft, falling to the third round, but is really ready to prove people wrong while playing alongside his Georgia teammates, saying that will make it so much sweeter since it feels great having my guys back in Philly. Everybody, we're all putting the work in, being able to reunite with brothers that I love. Nolan Smith was actually my roommate when I first got to college. I feel like with me and JD, Jordan Davis, already being here, we'll be able to help all of them get off on the right foot. It seems like that already started on draft night, especially with Nakobe Dean celebrating with Nolan Smith. As soon as he was drafted, the two roommates share a special bond and, according to Smith, are best friends.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup!
But that's not all they share, as both players say they have something to prove, with Nolan Smith admitting it's what makes him better, saying, "It's my chip. No one else put that chip on my shoulder. I put it on myself just to really better myself and better my game, and just not listen to outside noise and always try to be the complete best player I can be." I just love how they both approach their game, and I can't wait to see how Nakobe Dean performs this year. I know we're a long ways off, but I really do think that Dean is going to be a pillar on this defense, and it may be crazy, but I kind of think that he's going to flirt with a Pro Bowl type season with all the pressure generated up front from the D-line. I think he's going to reap the benefits from a dominant defense, and I think he's going to be fantastic. But what do you guys think? How will Nakobe Dean do this upcoming season? And how about Nolan Smith? He's certainly determined, and one of the ways Smith believes he can become the best is by learning from Eagles sack leader Haason Reddick, who after 3 seasons has totaled 40 sacks, 180 pressures, 60 quarterback hits, 38 tackles for loss, and 13 forced fumbles. But according to Reddick, he's just getting started. A little advice, take the over on the sack total for this upcoming season. I don't know what it's set at, but it seems like easy money. But more importantly, I love the work ethic and motivation from Reddick, and Smith's willingness as well to learn from greatness. But what do we think? How many sacks will Reddick have this year? Another guy who's incredibly motivated for the upcoming season is James Bradberry, after the corner admitted to probably holding Juju Smith-Schuster in the Super Bowl and was then the target of some childish antics by way of Valentine's card from Juju, which the All-Pro didn't care for, but hasn't been able to return the favor yet.
We're going to see when that game comes, how I feel. But right now, I'm not even thinking about it, to be honest with you. We lost, so postcard was really just... I don't know what it was, but I didn't like it.
Let's just say week 1 is not going to be any fun for Juju.
But it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it?
Bradberry also went on to speak about the excitement of playing for Desai, saying he seems like a smart guy. I love playing for smart coaches who put us in a position to make plays, which, I don't know, is maybe a slight to Jonathan Gannon because remember, Gannon even admitted himself that he didn't put the Birds in the right position after the Super Bowl, and CJ Gardner-Johnson also tweeted, "You didn't put us in the position to make plays." Look, I'm not saying Bradberry meant anything by his comment, but you've got to admit, it's at least a curious choice of words there. One thing that is for certain is that Bradberry had a lot of uncertainty going into free agency, saying, "I wasn't sure if I was going to be back or not, but I definitely wanted to come back, and I'm glad it worked out this way because it's a great situation here, and I love being here." And believe it or not, JB said there were 3 things that brought him back. 1, the talent on this team. 2, the coaches we have. And 3, the cafeteria, since he's a foodie apparently.
Food's brown, hot, and plenty of it.
I'd like to know what it is that they're serving in the NovaCare Complex cafeteria. But seriously though, Bradberry went on to also say that it's great to be reunited with Darius Slay, and he's also looking forward to being with Reed Blankenship, again, someone who he has a very good rapport with apparently, as well as other members of the team and the coaching staff. Unfortunately, one of those members who won't be there is guard Isaac Seumalo, who was one of the quieter departures this offseason, but as NFL.com pointed out, Jason Kelce doesn't see Philly replacing him because I think he's one of the best guards in the NFL. And I think he has been. Kelce told reporters on Wednesday, "I think he's one of the most consistent players I've ever been around, one of the most consistent people I've ever been around. So we're not going to replace Isaac. There's going to be someone new in there, and they're going to have their attributes that they're going to excel with. And I'm looking forward to seeing who does a really good job with that." So the question is, will that be Cam Jurgens or Tyler Steen? I'm not sure, and neither is Kelce, although if you listen to his press conference, it did seem like he was leaning more towards Cam because after all, Jurgens is the guy who was practically handpicked by Kelce to replace him. And Kelce said Jurgens is uncharacteristically strong for his size and one of the hardest workers that he's seen. He also went on to say that Jurgens could have played last season at center and done a really good job, but Kelce still said, "We have a number of contenders. I mean, the Eagles are always drafting people and bringing in talent on the offensive line, and it's something for me as an offensive lineman that I sure appreciate because it's a unit, and a lot of times it's only going to be as good as its weakest link. We've had a lot of really good players, and we've been able to weather injuries. And guys have gone on and had success elsewhere. So I look forward to being in the room, going through this offseason, training camp, and season, and figuring out what this unit's about." I do get the feeling that Jurgens is the front runner, and if I had to pick someone today, I'd probably say Beef Jerky. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Steen ended up getting the starting job. But who's your vote for right guard? Another steal that the Steelers got, see what I did there, is Eagles scout Jim Ward, as 93.7 The Fans Colin Dunlap tweeted, "Congrats to Jim Ward, super football man, leaving Eagles scouting department to take job with Steelers scouting department, local guy, coached at South Allegheny and McKeesport, played at Steel Valley and Slippery Rock. Ward is tremendously respected in scouting circles, great get for Steelers." And Ward has been around as an area scout since 2017 with the Birds, but lives close to Pittsburgh, and it continues a recent trend as SI.com's Jacob Hare pointed out that Ward is the 3rd ex-Eagles front office member to join the Steelers. This trend began when Andy Weidel accepted the position of assistant general manager in May of last year. Casey Weidel, his brother, followed suit by transitioning from Philadelphia scouting director to Pittsburgh scouting coordinator in July 2022. It makes sense, really, with living close and in the area. As with most everything, it's also a relationship business. But I don't think it's really anything to be considered about. Let's move on. It sounds like the Eagles special teams coordinator Michael Clay isn't quite over the Kadarius Toney punt return after he said it's just one of those things where you see that play on and you know what's going to happen. It runs through your mind when you're laying in bed. It just happens that way. It's unfortunate, but I'm looking forward to getting back on the field and trying to wash that away. And as Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown said, it's time to get off the mat and move on, saying the team can't dwell on that game because that's life. Not everything's going to go your way. At some point, you have to get off the mat and get back working. I think that's where this team is right now. We definitely have that chip on our shoulder, but still taking it day by day. It's still early. It's like building a house brick by brick. And apparently one of those bricks is AJ becoming a complete receiver, saying I can always just work on getting in better shape so I can have more opportunity, but just trying to be that well-rounded receiver and do it all. I have goals of my own and definitely trying to achieve those. So sky's the limit. The sky really is the limit, and I guess the rumor is that A.J. Brown is somehow getting faster this offseason. Maybe it was the chase down against the Steelers last season that provided the extra motivation after Devontae Smith said Zach Pascal was faster than A.J. I don't know, but if this dude improves even more, look out. And in case you wanted any memorabilia from the Eagles' all-time single-season receiving yards leader, you can now purchase the game-worn pants versus the Titans for just $2,000. Or get the Super Bowl game-worn pants for the low price of $5,000. I think I'll pass. But if it was the backplate, that might be a different story. This has been the Philly Special.